Thank you everybody for coming. And it's nice to see you again if we happen to meet at Web Summit. So we are going to be. There's another global startups in the room. Is that me? I've never seen you do that before. That's weird. Okay, but anyway, so we're going to be talking about the Newcomer Entrepreneur Accelerator program. I've already, some of you have already got a little bit of familiarity with this, especially if we talk to you at Web Summit. But no worries if this is new to you. So let me see, share. That nope, it's sharing my whole screen. That's not what I wanted. It's not what I told you to do. Sorry. I want this one. There we go. Now you can all see that, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
So again, we're talking today about the NEA program, also known as the Newcomer Entrepreneur Accelerator. Don't let the word newcomer scare you. If you've been in Canada for a little while, we're pretty flexible about our definition of that. So my name is Meg Welter. I'm the program coordinator for the acceleration programs at Global Startups. So just to start off, to kind of get you interested, why should you apply to the NEA program? So we are supporting immigrant tech founders that are building companies in Canada. And we have a tailored program that's based on the startup's growth stage. So depending on whether you want to focus on investment or sales growth, that's kind of where we direct you. We sort of have well, I'll explain a little bit more about the structure later, but it's all very like customized to what your focus is right now. So we are designed for startups that have a product that is ready to scale. So you should at least have an MVP. And we connect you with coaches to drive results in, again, either investment or sales growth or other areas as well. There's a photo just from I believe this is the top one, I believe is from our demo day. And
Yeah.
then we have the bottom one with some of our team. I'm not in that photo because I was at another meeting at the time,
Yeah.
but it's some of us anyway. Carla was on maternity leave. And then so to move on, just a little bit about global startups. We've supported over 300 startups since 2017. Our alumni includes two unicorns, and this will be our fifth year running the NEA program. Every year we have two demo days with the startups that are investment ready to connect them with investors. And we also have two sales pitch competitions every year to spotlight some of our companies. One of those is coming up in a couple weeks. Some of you may have heard from us about our conference. I'm going to have a QR code at the end of the presentation to sign up for that if you're interested. But one of our sales pitch competitions will be at that event. And we also have over 30 events per year in general. These can be lunches with investors or other specialists. We also have a lessons learned event in the evenings. So those are just a couple of examples of the events that we hold in Toronto. So for the NEA program in particular, we welcome 15 startups each year for this program. This year it will run from October 1st to March 31st. So October 2025 to March 2026. It'll be a 6-month program, and it includes access to C fractionals, which is basically if there's a role in your company that you don't have filled, like for example, a CMO or a CFO, we can offer you someone to work with you on a part-time basis in that role. We also have industry experts, so those are people that are well versed in your particular industry, for example, fintech, medtech, edtech, whatever it may be, and can help you navigate those particular challenges. And then we also have business coaches as well in areas like sales, product marketing, and finance. There is a one-time program fee. It's $750 plus tax per company. So this is paid at the beginning and it takes you through the entire 6 months. This is just to kind of identify revenue potential and investment potential in the companies. I see there's something in the chat. JP, can you tell me, is that something I need to
Oh,
address?
I already answered. Yes, it
Oh,
was
okay.
just a
Okay, great.
quick question. Yes.
All right. No
Yeah.
worries. So I have a couple of case studies for you just to give you an example of some of the companies that have come through this program. The first one is called Infinite Harvest Technologies. So they were part of our cohort from 2022 to 2023, and they are upcycling organic waste using insect biodigestion. So basically, they take organic pre-consumer waste, like say from an orange juice factory, they're taking the orange peels. And they are feeding it to insects and then converting those insects into protein. So this helps to deal with food industry waste, and also creates a plant, or not plant-based exactly, but a sustainable protein that can be used in for animal feed and fertilizers and things like that. So some of the things that they did during the NEA program, they actually pivoted to a decentralized AI supported model, which was more scalable than what they had planned on doing before. They sharpened their market messaging for their North American clients. They had actually started in Colombia, so they were kind of starting with their North American operations with us. And they also opened a lab in Niagara Falls. So after the program, they launched their demo site in 2023, and they actually just recently closed their first funding round in 2025, and they received an investment from GSA Ventures. GSA Ventures is our venture capital arm. So the goal of GSA Ventures is to invest in companies that come through our programs and be their lead investor. We hear from a lot of companies that they're able to find investors, but nobody wants to be the lead investor. So the idea is that we're kind of filling that role for them. Our investment in Infinite Harvest was our first one, but the fund just started last year, right, Carla? And then so we're hoping to invest in more companies as we go.
Yes, yes. Sorry, GP, can you send me? I have more people trying to join the link. I'm just getting some message, but they don't have access to the link. Can you just share with me so I can send it?
Yeah, sure. We'll do
But
right
yes,
away.
so we closed our first fund last year, and we only, like Meg said, we only invest in companies in our portfolio. It's a small fund, it's a 2 million fund. Basically, we cut checks for pre-seed, seed round companies from our portfolio.
Perfect. Yeah, so then our second case study is Editor Apps. They were part of the 2023 to 2024 cohort, and they are an AI-powered image editing tool for individuals and small businesses. So basically, they offer you the ability to do things like, kind of simple things like add a shadow to your product photo, or, remove the background, um, create a like LinkedIn style headshot out of like casual selfies. So these are things that you can do. You can already do these things with other photo editing softwares, but this allows you to do it very, very easily and cheaply with like one click. So it solves the problem of costly, complex editing tools. It's a fast, user-friendly app. So it allows you, it sort of is a middle ground between, the tools that don't quite do enough and the tools that do plenty but are very expensive and complex. And so during NEA, they increased their revenue by 40%, and they were able to connect with investors through our demo day. After the program, they joined the Alberta Accelerator with 500 Global. And when I spoke to the founder, his name is Abul, he credited the support that he received in NEA for his success in that program as well. They also launched an app on Canva, and they are growing their users on that app by 10% every week. So just a couple of testimonials. So we have one from Krish. He was in our previous cohort from 2024 to 2025. And he mentions the program fee of $750, that it felt like nothing compared to the experience that he got. He had some time constraints, and it was a bit of a commitment, but he still found immense value, and he calls the program a game changer. And he makes a little bit of a joke saying, he might not want to recommend this program to other entrepreneurs because then they would get an advantage and compete with him. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously he very much enjoyed the program. And then we have this one from Kasim. He was also in the 2024-2025 cohort with a company called DVAC. And he mentioned how we helped them refine their scope, plans, and goals. They were working on developing their marketing and sales materials, so we supported them with that as well. Just for context, Krish, the previous testimonial, was part of the investment readiness track in the program, and Kasim was in the sales growth track. So this is just about how to, excuse me, how to apply. We have the basic criteria here for the program. We're looking for Canadian technology companies that are developing intellectual property. They should ideally have traction through sales, investment, grants, or user growth. This kind of depends on the industry. In particular, we know that for medical technology and biotech industries, they have a very long commercialization cycle. So we kind of accept just an MVP in those cases. A minimum of 50% of the company should be owned by a new Canadian citizen or permanent resident. By new, ideally, we mean about 15 years or less, but we've been flexible in the past. We've had cases that were longer than that. And then the company should have fewer than 500 employees. The deadline to apply is September 15th, but we interview on a rolling basis. So the sooner you apply, the sooner we can have a chat. And we also, let me see, I don't know if this is covering part of the QR code. And we also, we will be accepting companies toward the end of the summer. So, so at that point, we will be deciding which companies are accepted into the cohort. Just making sure everybody, got the QR code that they need. And then I will go on to just the last thing. We also have, as I mentioned, the annual conference coming up on June 23rd. This is called Breaking Barriers, Rethinking Tech Investment for Startups. This conference is in downtown Toronto. It's during Toronto Tech Week. So for those of you who may not be located in this area, it could still be a good opportunity for you to travel and check out some of the many, many events that are going on that week. So we will have 6 speakers exploring the investment landscape in Canada. We will also have a sales pitch competition, as I mentioned. And it's just a good opportunity to get to know us and our community and kind of what we're about. This code will give you 75% off. So make sure, even if you don't sign up right this second, save the code so that you can do it later. So yeah, that's pretty much the overview of the program. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one question.
Go ahead.
Is this program exclusive? If you sign up with global startups, and if you sign up with any other accelerator or incubators, is that an issue, or how does
No.
that?
So the only thing that's an issue is you figuring out what time commitment you can manage. We don't have any rules that say that, oh, if you sign up with us, you can't do another accelerator at the same time. We don't have anything like that. But you just have to kind of manage for yourself, like, okay, this involves this much time, and then this one involves this much. Can I manage both of these things? And to give you an idea of how much time commitment we're asking for, so each of our webinar style sessions will be probably about once every 1 to 2 weeks. Those are an hour. They're virtual. And then you will also have your one-on-one coaching, which will be probably about maybe a couple hours a week. But those are on your schedule. So you can decide, you and the coach decide when you want to meet. So that's pretty much the time commitment that we look for.
So 2 hours a week, you said. I just want to make sure.
So probably in total about 3 to 4, depending on how many coaches you have and how you want to structure those sessions.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
This program starts. You said the deadline is this in September. When does it start?
October 1st.
October. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's October to March, right?
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, please. This is Abba speaking. Thanks for the information provided so far. I have one question. Is there any cap when it comes to the investment provided by the lead investor?
Carla, do you want to take that question? I don't know what exactly our check size is.
Sure. Can you repeat? Is there any gap?
The cap in terms of like how much do they invest
No.
into?
Yeah. Okay. No, thanks for your question. I mean, we don't right now, it's pretty early, right? I mean, you have to think about if you decide to take the investment readiness program. First, you have to, and that's how we usually start our program. It's to invest basically three investment module where we kind of walk you through the process and where you decide if you're actually investable or not at the current stage of your business, right? And then you continue the working with your one-on-one coach, and the second half of the program, after 3 months, we will decide either take the sales or the investment readiness program. If you decide to go for the investment readiness program, what we'll do a more deep dive working with you and get you ready for fundraising. After the end of those 3 months, again, it's not mandatory. It's up to you. Because there will be also pitch practice. You can decide to pitch at our demo day. Usually it's an only invite event where we can bring up to 30, 40 investors. Can be private, government. But again, by that, we're not saying that we're going to invest or you're going to find your first investor. Like there will be, right? It's a possibility, but at the stage without knowing a company, we cannot even commit that we're going to invest or you get other investments, right? That's just too early stage, right? For us to kind of make any assessment in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, and also add about that our fund it's mostly for like pre-seed and seed startups. So I would say the size of the check will be 60K, 100K.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for mentioning that. There's some other questions, but I don't want to take much time about it. Maybe on another call we can discuss it when it comes to that. But when it comes to the MVP, so I heard that the company should have already made some revenues or showed some traction. So if it's, let's say, a B2C mobile app, so for example, there should be a certain number of users already using it at least, right?
There's no set number that we require. It's just kind of case by case. So the best thing to do would be to apply for the program, and then we can have a more in-depth discussion with you about your company and determine whether there's a fit. It's very, we kind of decide like one of the biggest questions that we ask when we interview a company is, can we help you? So that's kind of the most important consideration for us. Yeah, so there's no like set number, like you have to have this many users or this much revenue. We don't do it that way because every company is different.
Okay, good to know. Thanks. And when it comes to your criteria for acceptance, I know
Mhm.
that you've listed a couple of them, but when it comes to the project itself, like I know that it's a case by case, but are there
Mhm.
like big lines that you usually follow? And how long does it take for the decision to be made? Thank you.
So we'll be making the decisions towards the end of the summer, so it'll probably be a couple of months from now. And because we're just, we want to see who all applies, we do all the interviews, assess all the cases together. And in terms of, I'm not sure I understand the first part of your question. What are you asking anything specific in terms of like what we follow to accept companies?
Yes.
So, I mean, one of the things is that I guess one of our hard lines is that it has to be a product-based company. So we don't work with consulting because it's not scalable. So you have to have, something that you're selling to people. It doesn't have to be, it can be hardware, software, medical device. any of those kinds of things. So that's one of the sort of like the hard lines we have, but a lot of it beyond that is again pretty case by case.
Thank you. Thanks. Clear for me.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, Minghui.
Yeah, hi. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Max. Thank you. Yeah, my question is that I know this program is primarily uh, focused on, not focused on, but is a Toronto-based program. So my question is that for this program, how much about the component is in-person based and how much is virtual online based?
Yeah, so most of it is virtual. The only things that are in person are optional things. So we have, for example, I mentioned some networking events, some lunches with investors and other specialists like brand specialists, sales specialists. Those are totally optional. They're in Toronto, but there's no penalty for not attending those. The demo day is also in person in Toronto. So if you want to participate in the investment readiness program, you're welcome to do so without participating in demo day. Like you can do the pitch practices and just get your pitch ready, even if you don't want to travel to Toronto for the demo day. But if you do want to participate in that, that does require travel. So everything that's in person is totally optional. All of the webinar style sessions are online. All of the coaching sessions are online. So yeah, we've worked with companies all over Canada for this program. I can, if you like, I can also connect you with, where are you located, for example?
I'm in Vancouver. Yeah,
In
Vancouver.
Vancouver, yeah. We have a couple of companies in our last cohort from Vancouver. I would be happy to ask one of them if they would be willing to talk to you about their experience if you want.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, that's my
of course.
question. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I have another one if nobody else has one.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, just to make sure I have a very, very clear understanding, you do understand there are multiple options out there.
Mhm.
When you sign up global startups and you have an MVP product and ready to go, and let's say you have a couple of customers, clients.
Mhm.
By the end of 6 months, what should I expect to have, or how will global startup help Basir, my startup, be ready for investor? What else?
Mhm.
What am I supposed to have by the end of this 6 months, or that it's a success for you
Mhm.
guys and for me?
Yeah. So, I mean, we do everything we can to ensure your success. Everything is very tailored to what your needs are. So again, like I mentioned, the program has two tracks, investment readiness and sales growth. So I don't know which one you're more focused on right now. Whichever you're focused on right now may change, but
we're, let's say, if I can interject, we're going to be developing our product continuously for the next
mhm,
12
sure.
months, let's say. So development is kind of taken care of. It's the sales growth that I'm more interested in, and
Mhm.
market readiness, and getting some more traction. That's
Yeah, of course. So we'll be doing various in the sales growth section of the program, we'll be doing various sessions that are focused on laser focused on different aspects of selling. For example, we have sessions on B2B sales, we have sessions on writing sales emails, we have sessions on adjusting your customer approach when it's not working. These are with sales experts that we have in our community. And also you will have one-on-one expert guidance from beginning to end in the program. And those will be in whatever areas you feel you need. We will ask you, what do you need help with? And they will kind of walk you through the various aspects of, refining for example, your sales playbook. We can potentially, if needed, add an industry expert who can help you with navigating, in particular, the retail/e-commerce industry that you're working in. So we can do kind of all of those things to, our goal is to make you successful. Our goal is to make sure that you get more customers by the end of the program. So that's pretty much what you can expect. We have a pretty good track record in terms of companies at least the companies that are focused on sales managing to grow their sales during the program. Or in some cases when they're still pre-revenue, they might still be developing their product and getting it ready for selling, and they are, several steps closer to that by the end of the program. So those are kind of the results we saw. We had 10 companies in our sales growth track last cohort. So those were kind of the results that we saw there.
So just to give you an idea, and that's regardless which path you decide to go, the way we work with our startups. So basically, we start by, so we work on OKR base. So we sit down with you and your team, and let's do like 3 main objectives that we want to accomplish. We might split it into first 90 days and then the other 90 days, because as you guys know, startups, things change very quickly. So once we have the 3 main goals, and in your case will be very focused, okay, so now you want to increase customers. So let's find now for those goals, which are the metrics and which are the action plan, right? So once we have an action plan detailed with you, and we'll be working mostly, it's going to be you, and if you need support, we're here. Once we have that roadmap with all the metrics, and again, very realistically metrics, that's when we look, and that's okay, from these, which are our experts that are willing to help you. Do you want to go to market? We have a good coach that is specialist in go to market. Do you need partnerships? We have a very good actual CRO that he's very into just partnerships, right? Once we get those objectives, we're going to break down and see which type of resources are best tailored to you. And again, if your goal is to get more customers, there will be our goal as well, right? And if needed, something that we might do, again, it's case by case. We can start up even with having a strategic session. What we do by then, our team, your team, we can invite 2 or 3 coaches, 1 hour and a half. So let's see where you are, what are your challenges, where you want to be. That's another way to work. Again, because we do a very customized approach, right? Some companies might have things pretty clear in their mind and they can explain us very well. So we're just good with mapping out the OKRs. But some companies might still a little bit undecided. So, okay, so let's jump on a strategic session and see if we can get a better understanding of your company, right? So that's just to give everyone an idea. How do we usually start our programs?
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, that's all. Good addition. Go ahead, Shazia. Oh, I'll come back to you. We have until 1 o'clock, so go ahead, Shazia. You're muted. Not sure if you realize.
Shazia?
Maybe she hit it by mistake. Oh,
she said not able to unmute. Let me see if I can hit. I can press ask to unmute. I don't know if that helps. Well, if you want, you can put your question in the chat. That's yeah. Okay. So we'll so Zishan, if you want to go with your next question, then we can come back to Shazia once it's in the chat.
Okay, great. Yeah. If anybody else wants to go, I don't want to ask other questions. Okay.
Is there anyone else with questions?
You said this program is pretty custom tailored, which is great, right? More chances of success.
Yeah.
So when you guys start up with a company, do you tie any specific numbers, metrics, that this will be, if we reach these numbers, this is success for, and you've successfully passed the program.
So
do you guys do that? Yes.
So there's no sort of. We collect metrics from each company at the beginning of the program so that we can compare with the end. like how much sales do you have so far? How many, have you gotten grants? Have you gotten investment? All those things. And we set the goals with you in terms of with what Carla was just talking about with the OKRs. So if you have a goal, we ask you sort of like, where do you want to be at the end of the program? How much do you want to have increased in sales? Because you know your company better than anyone else does. So what you kind of need to achieve and what's realistic. There's no really pass fail in terms of the program. There's no like, you have to hit this number or you don't complete the program. The only thing that we really ask is that you're engaged. We have had companies drop from the program before, but that was because they basically stopped participating altogether. So that's the only reason why you might not complete the program after you've started it.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, so Shazia asked, do you also assist in getting the developed products like telemedicine apps and health-related web applications approval from government? So what we can do is, like I mentioned, we have the industry expert, and that's a person that can help you navigate those regulations, because we are not experts in those areas. So, but we have people in our pool that can help you through that. Ultimately, it is up to you to complete that process, but they can sort of tell you, like, here's what you need to do.
Yeah, we do have an industry expert that has been helping. We do have a good number of companies in health tech, and that he's been helping. And because a lot of the companies are not even here in Canada, so again, very different types of regulations. Canada, it's very strict in terms of regulation compliance. So that's something a support that our industry expert can provide to help navigating through Health Canada, FDA, whoever you need the approval from.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Abbas.
Yes, when it comes to the MVP, so an MVP can have several different definitions. It can be like a clickable prototype, it can
Mm-hmm.
be alpha stage, beta, so still under development, but being user tested. So, what level do you usually target when it comes to the MVP? How
Yeah,
far should the MVP have been developed or tested? Thank you.
that's a great question. I would say that ideally we would want to work with a company that has their product ready to sell. They might not have customers yet in every case, but just something that you're ready to start working on your go-to-market plan. I think beta would probably be fine. Alpha is a little bit early, for our ideal case, but yeah, a beta test would probably be an okay stage. But ideally something that is on the market or ready to go on the market.
Okay, so to follow up on that, so let's say
Mhm.
if the beta is expected to be ready somewhere around November 2025, so it's like a month's gap with your timeline. So
Mhm.
when could be the next time to apply for it, or would it be possible to still apply with the beta coming in November? How can this be addressed?
So I think that you should still apply, because we can always consider the case, depending on the specifics of your company, and also depending on what our cohort starts to look like in terms of the other companies that we've accepted. But if it doesn't work out for this time, the next time would be a year from now, because we run it once a year from October to March.
Okay. Okay, so for example, if let's say a clickable prototype is ready, for example, by end of July,
Hmm.
right? And it's clear that there is a commitment to have the beta version by early November or mid-October. So
Hmm.
would the clickable prototype still be something that we can get onboarded? Like you can start the due diligence or like deep diving into the project with us by the time the beta version is ready in November.
Yeah, I think we can use that to consider the case at the very least, and just kind of decide where everybody is at, where the company is at. It depends on the kind of product you have as well. And then again, what our cohort looks like. So I think that I think that if you're going to have the clickable prototype ready by the end of July, that's a good time to apply, because then we can consider that product.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Still have people entering even now. Okay, are there any other questions?
Yes, actually, one more.
Sure, go ahead.
So let's say that by coincidence, you find that two companies that are applying
Mhm.
have some kind of possible or probable synergy, for example, for
Yep.
some reason. So would you, let's say, would you, for example, bring that up or bring that opportunity or try to bring those founders together to see how they can sync up things among each other? This is like general question. Thank you.
Yes, we have done that before, both within the NEA program and also with our startup visa program.
Yeah, if we see any opportunity, any synergy with any company from our portfolio, regardless the program, regardless if it's alumni. I mean, we like our companies are always part of our community. So yeah, and we have here GP, our community engagement coordinator. He's our connector. Yeah, if we see some synergies, like we definitely will connect the companies, and then it's from you up to you guys if you want to partner or what you guys want to do. Yes, yes, totally.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, and also as Meg mentioned, we run over 30 events throughout the year. So I'm gonna post here our LinkedIn where we're very active. We're posting all of our events that are in person, as well as info sessions and everything that we do at Global. So if you're in Toronto, please, especially by the end of the month, that Meg shared there the QR for our conference. Come join us. If you're not in Toronto, hopefully we can see you sometime. But just keep an eye on our socials. We're very active, and we're happy to have you in one of our various events. Be that lunches, as Meg mentioned, conference, lessons learned, which is another event we bring investors. This year we're all about investing. That's why it's good that the NEA program has this investment side, because we're very because we know that the pain points that most startups have, it's investment and sales. So we're here to help you in those areas. I think Shasia has another
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, she asked, do you require a clear business model for the product, or do we get help in developing one for sales? I think ideally you should have some idea of what you're planning to do to sell your products, but we can certainly help with that. One of the things that we can offer assistance with is, for example, your business plan. If you're not quite sure of your pricing model yet, we can help you with that. There's a lot of room for you can come into it with an idea and end up changing the whole thing. That's a possibility that has happened in the program. So we're there to help you assess what you have and make improvements.
Yeah. It's pretty common, actually. One of the feedbacks sometimes we got from the startups is that they ended changing their business model, yes, that's pretty, because once we start working with specialists and experts, things can change, right? You can start refining even more things out. So yeah, it's we've seen that happen before. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the deadline to apply? I might have missed on that at the beginning of the meeting. Is it September?
September 15th, yes.
September 15th. Okay.
Yeah. Have a couple of new people joining us. I'm sorry you missed the presentation.
Yeah, I know Samuel, I know Camilo from
Yeah.
Web Summit, so
Yep. But yeah,
Just
as we mentioned earlier, everybody will get access to the recording. So no worries if you missed the presentation and some of the questions.
Do you guys assist with government grants and funding?
yes.
Yeah, so one of the modules at the beginning of the program is on non-dilutive funding, including grants and tax credits and all those kinds of things. And if it's something that you particularly want to focus on, we have people that can assist you with that.
Yeah, we have some partners that basically they will work on with you, because I know sometimes it can be very overwhelming. There are so many different grants, right? And for a founder that has so many things in their plate, they might be overwhelmed by have to write a full grant. We have a good partner on that. They only the way their business model, they got a successful fee. Like basically only if you get the grant, that's how they get paid. If you don't get the grant, you don't get paid. And I mean, the percentage, it's a small percentage. I don't know. It kind of depends on the company,
Yeah.
but that's how they work, which I mean, you have nothing to lose, right? It's pretty common. So yeah, we can introduce you to our partner on that area.
Okay. Hi, Camila. Nice to see you again.
Hi guys.
And I
Very
apologize. I want to
yeah.
apologize to you personally for my email with putting the wrong name in the in the beginning of the email. It was just
No,
lots of copy and
no,
pasting and
no problem. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
I'm gonna go to the recording and to the presentation and yeah, and catch up with this.
Yeah, yeah. You're all free to send me an email. I think JP will probably is my email in the thank you email or something.
I
Um,
can add it. Yeah.
I can put it in the chat too. Um,
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice to see you too,
yeah.
and
So that's my
Carla.
email if you don't already have it. I am totally here to answer any questions that you have. If you want to have a follow-up call in more detail, we can do that. The easiest way is for you to fill out the application and then we kind of have an interview where we talk about, so because then we know about your company and we can answer your questions
Perfect.
a little bit more effectively. But if you really want to have a call before doing that, we can do that too. Go ahead, Abbas.
Yes, so during the program, so especially like when being coached, sometimes, for example, the coach might come up with a certain small tweak to the business model or what is being worked on.
Mhm.
Let's say if this requires a change or towards the development, for example, which requires a certain investment, but which the founder can't really afford at this point in time, but the coach sees that this can really make a huge difference. So, how to deal with such a situation, for example? Is it where, for example, then this case can be taken to the investors later on with the current form of the app as it is, but with that potential being highlighted? How does it work? Like, if there's a certain pivoting or iteration to be made, which is recommended by the coach himself or herself.
Yeah, so ultimately, the final decisions on what to do with your product are up to you.
Sure.
And you have to consider, what your resources allow. Um, we can certainly, like I said, you have the option if you feel that you're investment ready, to participate in the investment readiness program and, get in front of investors that way. The other thing to mention is that if you don't do it in this program, we run the investment readiness program along with the demo day twice a year. So there's always the option to participate later if you're not ready right now. So that's kind of what I would say to that. I don't know if that answers your question, or Carla, if you wanted to add anything.
No, again, like Max said, at the end, you are the decision maker, right? We do what you think it's best for a company, right? And you know better than anyone else your budget, right? It has happened that the product, if you require product coach, if that's the case, I mean, it had happened in the past that the product coach refined some tunings and the founder will work, right? If not possible, we will see in what other capacity can we work with you, right? But I wouldn't recommend jump on to investors specifically if the recommendation is to change your product, right? The things have to be very clear on your side, product-wise, before considering talking with investors.
Yeah, no, that definitely I agree. But what I meant here is that, so let's say that you have a good to go product for investors, but the coach has seen, during, let's say, the go to market strategy, for example, studies, etc., that there is really something that can be done that can really make like the product, instead of being like an 8/10, become a 9/10, for example. So this was more my question. So in terms of improving the product itself, but yes, I understand what you mean. Better to improve it and then go towards the investors, was it to make even a better impact? I agree. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else with questions? We still have 10 minutes left, so don't be shy. Okay.
Yeah,
I think
I think
maybe,
we're good. There was a lot of questions. Thank you, guys.
yeah. JP, did you have anything you wanted to throw in before we end?
No, just what I added previously about the events, 30 plus events are very helpful, especially for the networking, meeting investors and people from the ecosystem. So I would suggest, again, follow us online. We have a lot of stuff coming up on the second semester. We end the first semester with our big event, the conference, during Toronto Tech Week. So in the meantime, follow us. And yeah, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Meg, for the presentation. Carla, again, as usual, and everyone attending. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
just would
Thank
like just to emphasize, if you are unsure, and because we don't know your company, your business, just apply. It doesn't take longer. You have to provide a few details, but we will be prepared, right? Because we'll know in advance. So we also might have questions. And again, we'll just schedule an interview.
Yeah.
And there's still no commitment, but it's much easier once you put some more information about your company, basically your business model, where you are, and what resources do you need. It's just easier for us kind of have that one-on-one.
Amazing. Yeah. Look forward to complete the
But
application.
yeah,
Perfect.
great seeing you, everyone, and
Hey,
thanks for
guys.
the ones that we connected last week and were able to make it
Ah,
today.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
everyone. Have a great day.
You
Thank you,
too.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.